Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter Barber. I am primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and of course a bass vocalist. Today we are back with Gigi De Lana, who is one of my favorite new artists I've heard in the last few months, and this is with her band Gigi Vibes. So I guess John, LA, Jake, and Romeo. I don't know these artists really yet. I'm only really familiar with Gigi so far. But we're going to check out their performance of Through the Fire and Piano in the Dark. I guess it is a mashup or it's two songs back to back or something. We will find out. And that's what we're doing today, guys. So please do like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment for the algorithm. It could be as simple as Hi Peter or Gigi De Lana or Gigi Vibes or whatever you want. All good for the algorithm. Hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. And my goal really with these videos, which I'm highlighting more in these intros lately, is I'm trying to bring value to your listening and musical experience. I want you guys to, hear things in this music that you love that you've never heard before. I want you to learn things about vocal technique, which is what I talk most about. So I'm here primarily to educate, secondarily to entertain. So this is a first-time reaction, but I will be pausing a lot to do my analysis, to talk about the vocal technique and so on. So if you want to watch this video straight through, I will leave a link below for you to do that. And you can come back if you want to learn a lot more about the music and the vocal technique and all that. And secondly, if I am bringing value to your listening and musical experience, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. It's the best way by far to support me as a creator, educator, performer, all that good stuff. So guys, without further ado, let's jump in. This is a pretty long video, 9.5 minutes. So if I take my normal pace of analysis, we could be here for a while. we could be here for a while. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and dive in, and we're gonna work our way through it. Have some fun.
In your eyes and I can see we've loved so dangerously. You're not trusting your heart to anyone.
Gorgeous. So this is, wow, this is very different vocally from Unholy, which is the first time I heard her sing, and that was way more towards the, rock, hard rock, almost metal in some cases, both with vocal technique and the instrumentation. Here we've got this is a very laid back vibe here. Let's see what key we're in. So A flat major. Yeah, very vibe. A lot of just very chill instrumentation happening. It's like a little jazzy, definitely a lounge kind of feel. So let's see where this goes vocally. I'm going to back it up just a few seconds so we can get her start, and I'm going to talk about, what she's doing vocally in this first phrase.
I look in your eyes and I can see.
So really, really nice intimate approach here. I think did she have a little bit of vibrato on that first pitch? It's like almost reminiscent of like a Frank Sinatra kind of singing, where it's smooth and occasionally allows a little bit of vibrato in there. It's a nice, easy, relaxed kind of singing. She's not forcing anything. She doesn't have like strong vocal fold closure, which causes a brighter, more powerful sound. It's very laid back, easy singing.
Look in your eyes and I can see we've loved so dangerously.
And yes, she is on these longer pitches. Love so dangerously. She's allowing the vibrato to come through. This is a relatively common technique used in pop music if the singer is good enough, or in musical theater especially, where you'll sing most of the phrase in more of a straight tone, and then once you get to a longer note, you allow your voice to vibrate, which really comes from a nice consistent vibrato comes from proper breath support, right? The breath support starting all the way down on the diaphragm, coming up, delivering the air to the vocal folds in a way that is free of excess tension. So the whole vocal apparatus is relaxed, and it just allows the natural healthy position of the voice is to be vibrating consistently, as Gigi has shown here. So it's just a good sign of easy, free singing technique.
See, we've loved so dangerously.
Even word to word, we're getting a lot of variation with vocal fold closure. You know, it's not all breathy. It's not all love so dangerously. It's love so dangerously. So there's a lot of word to word contrast as far as, and the breathiness really does come down to vocal fold closure. How much, I feel like I mentioned this in every single video, but I'm going to keep doing it for anyone who's new. So vocal fold closure and closed quotient is the term you'd use. Is the percentage of time during each oscillation of the vocal folds. It looks like this when they move. The percentage of time during each of those oscillations that the vocal folds are closed. A very high closed quotient means they're closed more of the time, which comes out to be a much more bright, powerful sound with a lot of high harmonic content. That's where you get the cut in the sound. It's what opera singers go for throughout their entire range. And a lower closed quotient means a more breathier sound. So if you think like kind of a jazzy, smoky, kind of like this, you know, a much more breathy sound. And all to say, Gigi is doing a little bit of both. There's nowhere in here is really high closed quotient yet. We did hear a lot of that in her Unholy cover, which was phenomenal. But here it's going from like low level closure, low closed quotient to like very kind of middle of the road closed quotient. But it's changing word to word, which it kind of takes you on a little journey with each little musical phrase she's singing, as opposed to just being one timbre, aka one vocal color throughout the whole thing. So you get a lot of variation.
We've loved so dangerously.
So just listen to her vocal attack on love, love, and then how different it is from where she ends that phrase on the lee of dangerously. Love so dangerously, and then pulls way back on the end of it.
See, we've loved so dangerously. You're not trusting your heart to anyone. You tell me you're gonna play it smart. We're through before we start. But I believe that we've only just begun.
She has a beautiful voice, truly, and also singing just perfectly in tune, which I very much appreciate, especially during a live performance. I just want to get that high note, not high note really, but highest note we've heard so far.
We're through before we start.
So up to an A flat 4. So still very, very comfortably in her pure chest range, not getting anywhere close to a head voice or a falsetto kind of singing. An M2 lighter mechanism. We'll get into that. We'll get into that later. We got a lot of time. Just a very easy getting up into her upper middle. I mean, we're getting. It's funny. The voice, even in a trained singer, it's like you'll be very comfortable up to a point, and then it will very quickly become less and less comfortable the more you're stretching those vocal folds out to sing higher. So she's still very comfortable at that A flat, but you go up another major third up to like a C. It quickly starts to. You have to be a bit more nuanced. You have to be a bit more. I don't want to say planned, but the technique has to be more solid up there, and she's got those notes. Like we heard notes far higher than that in Unholy. This is more just a general commentary on singing.
Smart, through before we start.
And the same thing, start. So she started it straight tone and then allowed the vibrato to come through.
Through before we start. I believe that we've only just begun. When it's this good, there's no say no.
Oh, that's a beautiful contrast between a higher closed quotient and a lower closed quotient. Let me get the words here, what she said.
When it's this good, there's no say no.
No say no? No say no. So you get like you get kind of that belt feel, a more efficient tone, a more powerful tone, and then she drops it down lower in her range. If you're following the voice naturally, usually as you get lower in the range, you lose some of that closed quotient as you get towards the bottom. For opera singers, that's the one genre where you actually try to maintain really high closed quotient everywhere in your range, because at all times you are going to be singing with an orchestra playing without a microphone. That's a big thing about opera. So you train your voice to have a high closed quotient everywhere throughout the range, top to bottom. But this is a nice example of Gigi going from, getting into that belt part of her upper chest range where the closed quotient is going to be higher, and then dropping down to the lower part where it's going to be more relaxed. There's going to be a bit more air flowing through if she just takes a very natural, healthy approach to it, which she is. This is beautiful, healthy singing from her.
When it's this good, there's no saying no. I want you so I'm ready to go through the fire to the limit, to the wall.
Oh, I know this song. I don't know who did the original, but I do know this song. Okay, I didn't recognize it until now.
Through the fire to the limit, to the wall.
So this sounds kind of like a mix here, because she's keeping it's getting up into where would be a relatively high in chest range, a tenor high C, here C5, but she's keeping it very light in its mechanism. She's not really belting it.
Fire to the limit, to the wall.
So I think that's some kind of mix. A chest dominant mix. It doesn't sound floaty, really. It doesn't sound too airy. It just sounds like a lighter mechanism than what you would expect at those pitches if she were carrying the weight of her full chest voice up.
For a chance to be with you.
C sharp. It could be, though. I mean, I've only heard her sing one song that was so different from this, so I'm definitely still getting more familiar with her voice. This could be, she might have the skill and the finesse to maintain a pure chest voice up to that C sharp 5 we just heard. We'll know more in about 30 minutes.
For a chance to be with you, I'd gladly risk it all.
Those were definitely chest, those last ones. So I'm gonna retract. I think she has the skill and the nuance up there in her technique to sing in pure chest with a lighter mechanism around this tenor high C that she's singing around right now. I think it would be more obvious if she wasn't taking that approach. It's hard to tell also with microphones, because like everything we get coming through the microphone, because it's going to be compressed through whatever circuitry and system it's going through, whether it's post-processing or it's happening in real time. So everything sounds like a very similar volume, whereas you take the microphone away in a live setting, it wouldn't. It's much easier to tell what is a pure chest note in high chest range, like a belt, versus what's mixed, because the pure chest note's going to be much louder. But it's hard to tell here.
To be with you, I'd gladly risk it all. Through the fire, through whatever come what may.
See, that's a much, you can feel the weight of that C she just did. That was a much heavier sound than the first high Cs she approached at the start of this chorus, which makes me wonder if she's just, really, I mean, I'm sure she is wonderful at switching between registers, and it's to the point where it becomes hard to tell at certain points whether she's mixing or keeping full chest.
Through the fire, through whatever come what may.
That was pure chest, for sure.
For a chance to love.
And that sounds like a head voice mix. Up to that C sharp. See, if you compare that to the high C we just heard, it's like radically different.
What may. For a chance to love in you, I'll take it all.
Okay, yes, I'm going to retract my retraction. I think she was doing a mix at the start, and because right now we're seeing her go back and forth. So here she goes up into this mix on the high C, and then right at the end of this phrase actually transitions into full chest. Watch this.
For a chance to love in you.
Love in you. Yeah, so love in you. She goes back into a pure chest.
For a chance to love in you, I'll take it all the way.
And then take it all, pure chest, then the way pulls back into that lighter mechanism. This is like a master class on switching registers on the same pitch.
To love in you, I'll take it all the way. Right down to the wire, even through the fire.
Gorgeous.
Yes, I know you're afraid of what you feel. You still need time to heal, and I can help if you're lonely. Let me try.
She's just wonderful. She's also stunning, which doesn't hurt anything. Just a really just a natural but careful delivery of the text, and her use of dynamic contrast, and her use of vocal colors, and her use of vibrato versus non-vibrato. It's all really coming together nicely, and it's not only, you know, throughout the course of this song, the whole journey, are we getting a journey or a story? We're getting it like phrase to phrase too. So there's so much in it. She's keeping us engaged. Like, I'm fascinated watching, because there's so many tiny little things happening, word to word, phrase to phrase, you know, verse to verse. And of course there's this whole huge arc happening the whole time. So it's really it's wonderful. It is.
And I can help if you're lonely. Let me try. You touch me and something in me new, but I can't have with you. I'm not ready to kiss that dream goodbye.
Just like a little riff she did, and like it was intentionally like a little sloppy, you know, like at times she's, you know, to better convey the text or the message of what she's saying, she's opting to slide between pitches instead of being super accurate. Like, there's a time and a place for that, and it's with her, because we know she has the skill to be super accurate with her singing and riffing. We know it's an artistic choice to put these slides in. You know, with a singer where if you can't tell, it's a different story if the singer doesn't have the skill to navigate these styles of singing, but she obviously does. So these artistic choices are just something you just pay attention to, and you agree with them or you don't. I think they're used very tastefully in this case.
But I can have with you.
It's like a little, it's like almost like a sigh.
But I can have with you. I'm not ready to kiss that dream goodbye. When is this we? There's no
Bridge.
say no.
Pre-chorus.
Yes,
Oh wait, let's flag that little. I love that little. Once in a while, I'll comment on the instrumentation if something's interesting happening. For the most part, it's been a pretty similar group, but I like that little duet moment where she sings a phrase and then the piano goes. I like that.
say no. Yes, I need you, so I'm ready to go through the fire, to the limit, to the wall, for a chance to be with you.
All right, so now it's much more clearly she's remaining in pure chest the whole time. This is perfect. This is like a perfect second chorus so far compared to the first, where it's just revving up the intensity ever so slightly. Like, we're not climaxing yet, which ideally you want to do on the final chorus, but it's up enough to where it is noticeably different as far as the vocal approach from the first chorus.
For a chance to be with you,
There's a riff.
I'd gladly risk it all through the fire, whatever come what may. For a chance of loving you, I'll take it all the way.
Oh shit. Oh boy. It's going somewhere. There's also more drum fills happening. Again, the intensity is just revving up. She's getting more into her like power belting style for sure. I like that she had just a second ago, which we're about to replay. She's changing the delivery of the text a little bit. She's changing the melody a little bit to really make it her own. I say this often when I make videos for covers is I believe the best way to do a cover, unless you're going to completely change the genre, is to take the essence of the original song and do that part justice, do justice to the original artist and the original song, but then add your own flair to it and make it your own. So I think a great way to do that is to slightly change melodies, slightly change harmonies, slightly change delivery of the text to where you are adding your own interpretation and artistry to a piece that's already good. And to do that tastefully is a whole different conversation. And I think Gigi's doing a wonderful job with it, truly.
What may, for a chance of loving you, I'll take it all the way, right down to the wire, even through the fire.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like that's an added. Now I don't know the original super well. I just know I've heard it before. I'm really comparing to what I'm remembering, which could be through sampling or something like that. But I can almost guarantee she is making her own choices with these riffs, and switching up the delivery of text some. I would be willing to put a lot of money on the line that she is making this her own in a lot of ways.
Even through the fire.
So I'm not nearly good enough at guitar yet to comment on this. I've thought about bringing my friend George on, who's an exceptional guitar player. He makes a full-time living as a guitar player in Nashville, goes on tour, all that stuff. I don't know if you can see it in the background. I just started playing guitar like 2 months ago, and I am very, very basic. And now I'm just, whenever I see guitar players now, I am more and more amazed because I'm working on just playing basic chords, and I haven't even really gotten into picking yet, much less soloing. So respect to guitar players. I'm still definitely not proficient enough to comment on the technique. Definitely not. The voice is where my expertise lies there. But shouts to guitar players. I am gaining appreciation for you all every day. God! Wow! Up to an F5. That sounded very pure chest. That was just okay. So you want to talk about high close quotient? Here we go. So this is where high close quotient. Just listen to how efficient the sound is. Like there is no breathiness whatsoever coming out. It is all just pure tone. And I think she might have put a little grit in there for a moment, which she has the skill to do. I know she did a lot of that during Unholy, the kind of more gritty rock belt kind of stuff. But let's just appreciate a very solid high E flat belt with a riff up to an F. Jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna guess. I'm going to assume this is the final chorus, where the instruments are going crazier. There's more drum fills. There's more of this kind of back and forth between instruments, kind of taking the lead of their various sections. And then of course Gigi's doing a lot more vocally. She's optioning higher on pitches. She's belting higher. She's really staying at the top of her range, as opposed to dropping it down. She's remaining in this high close quotient. It's remaining very pure and powerful. It's effing sick, is what it is.
I go let me risk it all through the fire, through whatever come what might, for a chance.
Wait, see if she gets above an F. Oh, okay, so E flats and Fs again. No. God. A flat, dude. She's up there in So Hyung territory. I did not know she could belt that high. Holy shit. A flat 5. That is just insane. Like her vocal folds are just like stretched as far as they can go. Oh my god. And maintaining, if it's not pure chest, it is a very, very chest dominant mix. I mean, it's that'd be a powerful sound in person for sure. It does sound like it gets a little heady, like it gets a little like up, like the resonance shifts some. So it could be a mix. Again, it's hard to tell. You can feel the sound loses a little bit of the body. If you go high enough, it's almost impossible to maintain like the body of the sound. So it's possible it's a mix, but I mean she's remaining pure chest for sure up through F. And either way, like a flawless transition in and out of that pure chest to chest dominant mix. So, I mean, there's just so much skill happening. Oh. I always pause when a good riff happens. I didn't have any appreciation for riffing until I was in an a cappella group in undergrad, and there were some phenomenal riffers in the group, and I didn't get it until then. How to use riffing, how to use it tastefully, how to use it to add to a melody in a non-show-offy way. Gigi does such a phenomenal job of it. I think that is a mix up on that A flat 5. I think that's a mix because, like I said, it's a smaller, more pointed sound than this huge like rock belting we're getting kind of surrounding it. This is a very light mechanism, very heady, okay? So we've gone from this huge power belting, like mostly pure chest, debatably chest on the very top, to now we're kind of breaking it down. I guess this is where they're gonna switch songs to go into the second one. It feels like we're getting towards a transitionary point. right, so I think we're going in. It looks like they're making the transition now. I don't know how long I've been recording. I might turn this into 2 videos. We'll see. So either I will see you guys back in a few days, or we're going to keep rolling. So me and my video editor will figure that out. Usually I try to keep videos under a half hour. I'm probably pretty close to that at this point. So we will see. But for now, we're going to shoot it all in one take. So let's get it. That was phenomenal. Gigi is unreal and so charming and gorge. It makes it's easy on the ears, easy on the eyes. So we're back to same key, A flat major still. Maybe F minor. F minor, A flat major. So F minor is the relative minor of A flat major. A flat major is the relative major of F minor, just as far as key signatures go.
When I find myself watching the time, I never think about all the funny things you say.
See, I can see why they did these. Now, again, I don't know this song yet. Maybe like the last one I'll recognize in the chorus. I see why they put them together, though, as far as just kind of the vibe. Obviously, the keys are the same, and vocally, the approach seems maybe we're about to go on the same kind of journey where it starts in this one's tempo feels a bit faster. It's a little less laid back. So this one sounds less croony, less like I made the Frank Sinatra comparison earlier. This sounds a little more upbeat and forward driving. But as far as her approach vocally, it sounds very similar, where we're getting this nice contrast phrase to phrase of that slightly elevated closed quotient versus the more breathy tone. So we'll see. We'll see if this journey is similar to the last one. I'm down. Let's do it again.
I find myself watching the time. I never think about all the funny things you say.
That was a nice flip up into her head voice there. Funny things you say.
Think about all the funny things you say. I feel like it's dead. Where is it leading me now? I turn around in the still of the room, knowing this is when I'm gonna make my move.
That dotted rhythm pattern. Da, 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 da. That sounds like, why does this little HD box keep highlighting? It keeps bugging me. You stop that, HD. This nice little da 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 do.
Knowing this is when I'm gonna make my move. Wait any longer, and I'm feeling stronger, but just as I walk.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So there's a key change there. We were in A flat major, F minor. Now we're in the major version of the relative minor. So now we're in F major. Listen to this transition. That's pretty cool.
Wait any longer, and I'm feeling stronger, but
I don't even know what they did there. Not exactly sure what they did harmonically. Probably not worth it to go break it down. Not even sure I could figure it out on the spot. But it sounds cool.
longer, and I'm feeling stronger, but just as I walk to the door, I can feel your emotion. Yeah, it's pulling me back to love. Yeah.
This is great. So, yeah, you can feel it revving up. You can feel as she ascends in her vocal range naturally. She's getting a little bit of that higher closed quotient, a little bit more vocal efficiency, but leaving plenty of room to go, plenty of room to evolve and keep the song interesting. And you know, it's very clearly planned out between her and the band where they want the song to climax, which makes all the sense in the world, and is really important, especially for, you know, live performances, to be able to intentionally rev the energy up at a certain pace to where you hit your marks, you know, to better convey the message of the song, to better communicate, you know, whatever you're trying to communicate. It's good to have at least the structure of the song really well planned and rehearsed. Oh, of course I know this song. This is called Piano in the Dark. I don't know the names of these songs. I definitely know this song though. A high D, probably a little mix. And then a nice flip. You know, it's actually difficult. She makes it sound very easy, but to flip back and forth between like a very pure chest voice and a very, very pure, like, or a very airy head voice, it's tough to be accurate with the pitch in that kind of vocal transition, you want to call it that. And she's very accurate with pitch, so I just want to flag that. Just very accurate with tuning. Yes, riff. When he plays piano in the dark. He holds me close like a thief of the heart. He plays a melody born to tear me all apart. There's another great transition. So this is very speech-like, the start of the second phrase. Very speech-like, low close quotient, right? There's a lot of breath coming through. It's a very intimate kind of in-your-ear sound. And then we get a nice contrast as she moves forward in the phrase to a more belty, efficient, higher close quotient sound. And I flag these out. Really, I flag these often so that you can take this knowledge and you can apply it to your listening going forward. Like I said, I'm trying to add as much value and experience as possible here. So, you know, if you guys now, after watching this video, will know the difference between close quotient, low close quotient, and high close quotient, and what it sounds like in a voice. And you can know what's going on, like as far as the mechanism of the singing, which is really cool. It gives you more appreciation for what the singers are doing and just insight into kind of how it's made. And, you know, vocal technique, like any field, or music like any field, anything you don't really know much about, there's always way more than you think. Like, pick any random field you're not really familiar with, and you're like, oh yeah, they just do this or that. And then you actually dig into it and you're like, oh my God, there's so much goes into this that I had no idea about. So my goal is to kind of shed light on, you know, what makes these singers so fantastic. And not only that, but over my channel, you know, historically, you know, exposing the secrets of like low bass singing has been my thing, because people hear low bass notes and they're like, what the hell is happening there? How is that possible? And I'm like, this is how it's happening. And it's amazing, but this is how they're doing it. It doesn't make it any less amazing, but it just like, I think it seems to give people more appreciation for how they do it, rather than like, that's impossible. How do they do that? That can't be real. It's like, no, it's real. It's a subharmonic, or it's a growl, or this person has a freakishly low chest range. So I started out my YouTube journey. I'm about to get off this soapbox, by the way. I started my YouTube journey doing only bass stuff because that, you know, that truly is where my expertise lies. But, you know, working with tons and tons of professional singers and listening and essentially having a degree in voice science at this point, from my time at University of Southern California, definitely have the ability to comment on all kinds of voices and all voice types, and I think it's fascinating. And I'm so glad I have the freedom now to check out singers like Gigi You know, as much as I absolutely love analyzing, you know, Jeff Castellucci and Home Free and Pentatonics and, you know, stuff with really prevalent bass singers, I've really enjoyed diving into these other genres. So thank you guys for the support. I am now getting off my soapbox. I don't even know where I started that, but oh yes, you guys will know the difference between high close quotient and low close quotient in your listening going forward. And off we go.
Like a thief of the heart.
Speech like.
He plays a melody, born to tear me all apart. The silence is broken.
She also has a nice low range. Silence is broken. So down to an A flat 3. It's not a low note, you know, even for a female singer, but you can tell there is a richness in her low chest voice that you might not expect given how high she can belt and how comfortably she can belt really high.
All apart. The silence is broken.
Like, you hear that note, apart. You don't expect silence, you don't expect that much richness to come in a low chest note right afterwards.
Tear me all apart. The silence is broken. No words is broken, but all just as I walk.
The F major, it's a crazy transition.
I can feel your emotion. It's pulling me back to love.
Oh, there's a little harmony there from the guy on keys.
Pulling me back
Yeah.
to love, yeah. I know, caught up in the middle, I cry just a little when I think of letting go. I know, gave up on the riddle, I cry just a little when he plays piano in the dark.
So structurally similar to our first chorus here. Vocal, obviously structurally similar, like same chords, all that. Vocally similar as well. A few changes, a few minor changes. You know, more artistic freedom that she has on this piece. But I don't think worth flagging. You guys can go back and compare the two if you want. Yeah, let's keep moving forward.
Plays piano in the dark. In the dark. The silence is broken. No one is broken, but all.
Oh, the back. Right. That's her transition back into F major. C, B flat, A, because then A is the third of the F major. Interesting. I want to go back just a bit. I want to flag there's more artistic freedoms. I talk about this sometimes in videos. Let me find my place here.
Silence is broken. In the dark.
Little riffs like that, very likely made up on the spot. Like, she probably knows, okay, this section of the piece, I have freedom to riff or, you know, do something, you know, kind of whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And an artist that's good with technique and good with singing and comfortable with riffing can make up riffs on the spot that are very accurate and fit seamlessly into whatever the harmonic structure of the piece is at the time. And I'm guessing, you know, a lot of the song is structured. Obviously, everything the band's doing is very planned. I talked about earlier, they're planning the sections. They know when stuff's going to climax, all that stuff. But as far as her artistic freedoms, I'm sure there are some riffs she has planned or that she's done enough times where it's programmed into her muscle memory. But one like this feels like she's just here in the moment, and because she has the skill of high quality riffing, she can just throw it out there unplanned. And I think that's a beautiful thing to see. And the reason I say that is because that's how these guys in my a cappella group were. They were so good at riffing that they could just completely make stuff up on the spot and it would fit perfectly into whatever they're singing already.
In the dark. In the dark. The silence is broken. No one is broken, but all. To the door.
Nice big drum fill.
I can feel your motion. It's
So still remaining very similar. She hasn't gone up into her crazy belt range yet like she did in the first song. Still could happen. We still got, 45 seconds left. Or this could be just a more, kind of a more chill finish. Like on the last song we had first chorus, second chorus more intense, third chorus absolutely effing bananas with all those high A flats and stuff. And this one could just be a little more chill where it's less of like a huge climax, more of like a vibey song, Back to minor. I do love that transition back to minor. That's awesome. That was phenomenal. Start to finish. God, she is no shit one of my favorite singers. Like, period. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to selfishly make more videos on her in the future. Okay, that was super long. It might be fun to do this. I don't know if this is going to be 1 or 2 videos. I did a lot more analysis on the first section because a lot of what you heard in the second song was similar comments to what I pointed out in the first piece. So this will probably be one long video. If you're still here, bless you. Thank you for supporting me in this way. If you learned something, if you didn't learn something, you know a lot about music and singing and the voice already. And in which case, I don't know why you're watching my channel unless you just want to hang out with me. But if you learned something, definitely subscribe because you'll probably learn things on every video I make. There's always something new to comment on. There's always some nugget from my past musical experience that comes out that I wasn't planning on or wasn't even considering until I hear something and I go, whoa, this sounds like a dubstep remix I heard in 2013. Pulling from all the various musical endeavors I've had, which are many. If you learned something, definitely subscribe. And if you feel like, if you gained a lot of appreciation for Gigi and this group and her singing, if I added value to your listening and musical experience, definitely consider joining my Patreon if you guys are still here. Definitely check it out. There's 6 levels of tiers where you get increasing benefits, but bar none, $1 a month, you get early access to all my videos. You get, basically a lot of updates on what I'm up to in life. You get access to my private Discord server for $1 a month. $1 a month, and you can get it on discount if you get it for the year. It's $10.80 for a year of Discord and early access and other stuff, and all the way up through $100 a month if you want to get a number of absolutely bonkers benefits, which people seem to be really appreciating, the people who have joined that tier. But that is the best way to support me by far. So hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I succeeded in my goal of bringing as much value and appreciation and joy to your listening experience. That's my goal. I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this as a secondary career. It's amazing. I sit down here, I listen to amazing singers, I comment on it using all the knowledge I've gained from my work as a professional singer and musician over the last 10 years of my life or longer. It's a joy. I like doing it. Can you tell I like doing it? And you guys make it possible. So thank you for the support. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, and check out my Patreon if you want to take that one step further to support me and allow me to keep doing this. That is what Patreon is, what makes it possible. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Gigi, I said this in the last video. If you're watching this, call me. I'm also thinking about relaunching my vocal podcast where I talk to singers and voice actors and actresses about their technique and what they do. And if I relaunch that, who wants to see Gigi on that podcast? I would love to do it. So if y'all know her, reach out, tell her, let's make contact. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. See you in the next one.